During a brief retirement, this man I'm about to introduce became alarmed about world economic conditions and began an in-depth study of the monetary situation. About 10 years ago, he began to publish his newsletter, then called Myers Financial Review. That publication, an economic commentary, now holds a position of international importance in the financial news world. I just turned, I'm going to be honest, to Howard Ruff and said, how do you introduce this man? He's very controversial. He's either a genius, he's either crazy as a loon, he's radical, but he has been, and the financial community sometimes is horribly embarrassed by him, but he's been right more times than he has been wrong. And Howard said to me, he ain't crazy, he is smart. He is what, a hard money?
Yeah, he's hard money oriented, which means, we'd like to see gold backing for the currency and so forth. He's into that same camp that I'm in, but he's a deflationist. He thinks we're headed for a deflationary collapse, and I don't. I interviewed him on my show, and we got into a nice hassle on this, but I respect Vern. He has interesting things to say.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, would you welcome the founder and editor of Myers Finance and Energy Review. Here is C.V. Myers. Mr. Myers? I read your paper a lot, Mr. Myers, and I find it fascinating because it is radically written in many ways, controversially written in many ways, but you're right about an awful lot of things. However, I think it's only fair to point out to the audience, but a lot of it has been written while you've been in jail.
Yeah, that was tough writing in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think most of the audience knows that. I'm going to say a couple of other shocking things to you. You have just escaped from jail.
No, I didn't really
Oh, my
escape.
God.
No.
Now, not an American jail.
No, and I didn't escape.
Would you fire? You walked out the door.
No,
when they
well,
weren't looking.
no, I was allowed to walk out the door, but I haven't come back yet.
Okay. Now, this is not in America.
No, this is in Canada.
Could you just tell us, so I don't want anything to hurt your credibility today?
No.
So if people write in later say that you had a jailbird on you.
No, you see, I was allowed out the door, and I was supposed to be back at a certain time.
Well, how'd you get in there in the first place?
I got in there because they said I owed taxes.
In Canada?
Yeah.
In Canada?
Yeah, they said that after I'd got... I didn't know we were going to get into this, but that's all right.
But it's only fair because we'll hear from everybody if we don't.
Yeah.
This show has a huge audience in Canada.
All right. Well, they started off by seizing gold that belonged to American citizens. They raided my place, and they found about $4 million worth of gold in the bank, not my house. Jeez. And they thought that was my gold, you see. But it wasn't my gold at all. It was bought for the American citizens. But they weren't allowed to own it legally at that time. But it was legal to buy gold in Canada.
Uh-huh.
So we had clients in the United States that wanted to buy gold. And they said, gee, we wish we could buy gold. And I said, well, it's legal to buy gold in Canada.
So you had a pool?
Well, no, it wasn't a pool. I said, I don't care what the United States laws are. We're operating in Canada. If I'm in the United States, I'll go by the United States laws. But I'm up here operating in Canada. And I said, if you come along and put the money on the desk, I said, we won't ask you if you're Burmese or Chinese or Russian or American. Don't care what the hell you are. Just put the money on the desk and we'll buy you the gold, but we won't tell your name to anybody. Mm. So we kept the names. We had it all numbered. We kept the names.
Like a Swiss bank account.
That's right. Exactly. So then they seized all this gold, and they used it as an extortion weapon for ridiculous tax claims. But an unlucky thing happened to them in January of '75, when the U.S. made it legal for the United States citizens to own gold. Right. So then they sued the Canadian Income Tax Department, and they sued the individuals for exceeding their authority and wrongfully withholding the gold. And then there was a big scurry and a big from Ottawa out there, and they suddenly made peace with the Americans, and they said, well, yes, we recognize it's your gold, and we'll give it back to you. However, you'll first have to sign a statement that says you'll hold us free from harm for any wrongful withholding. And if you don't sign that statement, of course, we won't give it back to you at all, even though it's your gold. This gave, since we're into that subject, this put a pretty bad face on the Income Tax Department. It was all over the Canadian press. Next thing I knew, about 4 or 5 days later, I was arrested on the street and I said, what for? And I said, for tax evasion.
Oh, boy.
How
How long were you in the Hoosegow?
Oh, I was in there for about 6 months, but this is all later on.
But
So
then
then
you
I
were-
was acquitted.
You were acquitted. That I knew.
That's right, I was acquitted.
Then you
And
came
we-
back here.
No, well, yeah, I was acquitted. We had a 25-day trial, and I was acquitted, and then they tried me again. So I'd sat through the thing once for 25 days, and I was about sick of that.
So
So
you
I came
walked-
back here because I thought I was going to win the second time, too. But
So here you are.
So, well, no, that's not exactly right either. That's not like all of it. So while I was away, they convicted me, you see.
Ah.
So then I didn't come back for a long time.
Uh-huh.
I was holidaying down there and I didn't come back. And then finally I decided I'd like to go back to Canada, and I found out that while it was the maximum sentence for tax evasion in Canada, which was 2 years, that in 6 months you should be out. So I thought, well, I'll try. I think I can handle it for 6 months. I didn't know just how tough it was going to be, but I said, for 6 months I can handle it. My family's in Canada. I want to be with them. I don't like an unsettled deal, and I'll settle this thing up.
Okay.
So I went in there, and went in for 6 months, and then, by golly, afterwards, they started to break the doors down to the jail, trying to get at me about these taxes that they had chalked up against me, see. So after that, I got a letter from them, and from the parole board, mind you, and they said, we hope that before the hearing you'll settle up with the tax department, who had a bill against me for $1.8 million, that I should have so much money. So my lawyer said, my God, this is blackmail. He said, this is debtor's prison. But it didn't make any difference. It looked like what they were going to do was keep me there for the full 2 years, or else pay the $1.8 million, which I didn't have. And if I did have it, I couldn't get out to get it anyway, because I only had 3 phone calls a month, and I couldn't phone you if you asked me to come on the show. So it looked to me like this was going to be a pretty tough go up there. And I had about just a amount of my belly full of that.
That's right.
In 6 months.
So you left.
So I had earned, like anybody else, a temporary absence, from the jail. After so many months, you earn a temporary absence. It doesn't matter whether you killed somebody, or whether you broke into a bank, or whether they think
You
you
get
owe
a
some
temporary
taxes.
absence.
I got a temporary absence, and I'm still out on it.
Ah.
And I'm going to
Well,
I'm
you're on,
gonna go
I'd like to
back.
make a citizen's arrest.
Yeah, oh, that's right. Yeah, but
Let's talk about gold, which
All
got
right.
you into trouble. Oh, is that still a good investment?
Yes, I think it is.
Even at the high price of it, an ounce?
Well, what do you mean? You see, everybody says gold is high price. I kind of think dollar's low price. I mean, one's high and the other's low. Which is high and which is low? Now, you see, the gold has been going up, but has gold been going up, or has the dollar been going down? Have all the currencies been going down? Or is gold pretty nearly stable? I saw some figures the other day on investments of 40 years ago. And if you compared them with the price of gold today, they'd be about the same today as they were then. In other words, is the dollar going to keep on going down? Maybe we should put it that way, instead of saying, is price of gold going to keep
Right.
on
Is there
going
any
up?
currency in the world that's really a good investment?
I
Go,
think-
go and buy some other dollars.
I would not trade gold for any currency in the world.
Really?
No.
It's been the most precious metal for 2,000 years, right?
That's right. And I would not, at this stage in the game, to me, to sell gold means you're buying currency.
Well, Mr. Myers, why does the United States keep selling our gold? They keep
Well-
selling 750,000 ounces,
Yeah, well, they
100,000 ounces?
Yeah, well, they sell, they were started out selling 1 million